All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another Spin That Shit podcast. Awesome guest today. Anthony Simpkins is with us. You know him as the guy behind Gyms on VHS. Great YouTube channel. He does a lot of other stuff too. They got a website and all that. We're gonna talk to him about field recordings, his recent travels, some of these music videos, and kind of how he got started briefly. But yeah, I'm super excited to talk to him. We're going to get to that in just a second. But I want to say thanks to everyone that's liking, subscribing, and sharing. Channel's growing. We do have a Patreon account now, so please check that out. Spin That Shit Podcast. You can find us under the creators page, and there's a few options there. And trying to offer something a little different on there, so it won't be the norm. So thrilled to do that. And yeah, like I said, thanks for all the support and subscribing, sharing. Let's go talk to Anthony. I'm sure he's got something good to tell us. All right, Anthony. If you could just kind of get this rolling, just do like the background story on what Gems on VHS is all about. Then we'll dabble into some of the current projects you're working on.
Oh, all right, sure, yeah. Yeah, why don't we get this rolling like Limp Bizkit said? And I guess you'd have to start at the beginning, and that's sitting around on YouTube, watching a lot of YouTube videos and getting inspired to do the same. There's nothing new under the sun when it comes to field recording. And I remember, if we're talking Gems on VHS, the YouTube channel that I do, the genesis of that would have to be watching a lot of Alan Lomax, who was a famous, famous in certain spheres that are very niche, but famous field recording archivist for the Library of Congress and others, other record labels that he recorded for. And all of the recordings, or some of them, have found their way onto YouTube one way or another. And I remember being 18 and watching those and being really impressed by getting transported to the land of the blues and beyond. So that was a big inspiration. Vincent Moon, another one I always name out, La Blogatech, which is a YouTube channel that's still going on from Paris. This director who would just take his camera, something that actually probably looked a lot like this, just a mini DV cam, and would roam the streets with the bands, recording cinema verite, real world stuff, and I've always been attracted to the real world and reality. So that's part of what we film. And that's the genesis of that. That's where we started, in Nashville, Tennessee, which is just superfluous kind of serendipity there. It's kind of a great crossroads of America, especially American music. So it was really easy to be surrounded by, the children of famous musicians or successful studio musicians. And, everybody has some kind of tie to the industry. At least back then they did. Now it's a different place, but that was kind of what we were surrounded by growing up. So it was kind of easy to get into this world.
Yeah. So when you started, were you just doing, what kind of camera were you using? When you hear the name Gems on VHS, you put the full VCR type tape in, or are you just using mini DVs?
No, I'm not that old yet. But I think that was just something that 18-year-old me thought was a clever name. And, we just decided to stick with it because I don't find that names really matter. I think it is the band Incubus that always has to answer the question about their name, because it's so suggestive and weird. And they're just like, yeah, no, we just thought it was cool. Like, we don't have anything, so mine's a lot better than that, at least. But yeah, that was, I've since made a whole story around why it could be deeper than it is. It's VHS was the first time you could take home pieces of media. And before that, it had to be streamed into your house on the radio or on TV. So this is kind of the first time that you could really get those gems, recorded on a VHS tape and take it home. You know, the TV didn't have to play it for you. The channel didn't have to broadcast it for you. You could go pick it out and bring it home. So that's kind of what
Yeah.
we're trying to do. Take the best of the best in the world that you haven't seen and, bring it into your living room, just like VHS. There you go. I
Yeah.
came up with that myself. You can have that one.
Yeah, you could technically like save individual videos in your own personal folder, and those are my gems. So yeah,
That's right.
that's exactly what you're doing.
That's it. We're basically the new VHS collection.
Yeah. So what are you so how do you find these certain artists? I'm sure a lot reach out to you at this point, but do you just kind of go and start knocking on doors or what?
Yeah. A lot of people reach out. But the way it's always been is still kind of the same. Word of mouth, once you're in, among the right people, is very strong, and I like to think that great talent, great people that are not just talented, but hardworking and really mean what they're doing, good people are easy to find through just natural selection. Kind of, they just come in and out of the circle, and that's still the way we do it. Somebody will just say, man, you really got to hear this guy. And if I hear that enough, not just because they told a bunch of their Instagram followers to go send us a message, so don't do that if you're listening to this, because it doesn't work. It'll be prolonged over, and it'll be who's telling me that. People I trust, who I know are good, hardworking people. I can't reiterate that enough. Good, hardworking people that are doing it for the right reasons is what we're looking for. And if you're that person, then you're just going to find us. You're not going to have to look. It's just going to happen because you're going to be in that circle. You're going to be in that sphere. It's a small world once you're, around people that are actually, a lot of people do it, but not a lot of people do it. So if you're in there putting in the work, putting in the shows, putting in the miles, playing for people, getting it out there, I'm going to hear your name because, most people just, I don't know, sit on their ass and don't do anything about it. Not everybody. Hopefully, there's still some hidden gems out there in the world to find. Those people we do, I had to dig up when I was in Australia recently, probably a guy that I never would have heard of because that's so far away. And, he lives in the jungle. I went and met this guy, Brody Buttons. And more on him later. I'm going to be releasing those videos, but a guy like that, it was still word of mouth that people were like, you got to hear this guy, Brody Buttons. He's in the middle of nowhere. I drove out to his house. He's in, outside of Brisbane in this town called Lismore, miles and miles out. And yeah, sometimes you just got to put in the work to like really find these people.
Yeah, that's digging for sure. That's awesome. So you also, you do give an opportunity too, as far as the contest is concerned. How many years have you been doing that? The actual contest where artists can submit their music.
Yeah, I love that contest. Thankfully, is now over this year. We've been in the middle of that for the past. It really is. It's crazy because we get the instruments from Goldtone, who's been sponsoring it. Goldtone Instruments. Shout out to them sponsoring the contest.
There's one right there.
How about that? Yeah, we're in good company. And they send us the instruments in December. Contest launches in like February or something. It's just like, and then I don't, see the winner until June. They're coming out this month. And yeah, it's just such a long thing in my world, even though the people who, put their, thank God they invest. I really appreciate them investing their time in it, and everything is so fun to do. But man, I put in the hours doing this every year for the past 3 years. To answer your question, it's been 3 years. So it's been an interesting journey. We just kind of, talking about people reaching out. So many people reach out to be on the channel that I just said, you know what? Why don't we just leave it up to everybody? Just let everybody vote, just we'll have the whole audience. It's because most of the people that watch the channel, it seems like, and the vocal ones are awesome musicians. Everybody plays a little bit. So man, it was just such a cool idea, and we ran with it, and it's worked out really fun, man. Like everybody just kind of gets involved. Even if you don't win, a lot of people are still like meeting friends and meeting a whole community and songwriters they didn't know existed. So we're kind of like building a community at the same time, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to shout out the Hill Figs here.
Yeah, shout out Tyler Hood, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that guy.
He just came through. Funny story is he already knew where I work. We sell trapping supplies and do taxidermy.
He's a hunter.
Yeah. So he already, came around the shop before all that. And then I was more on my radar since the contest. And he just came up last week and we did a little recording in the shop there. So
it's a smaller world than you know. Anybody that doesn't know, Tyler Hood from the band The Hill Figs is the winner of the 2021 contest. He got a video out on our channel, and he's actually got one coming out at the end of this month on Western AF. So COVID kind of kicked rocks on that for a little while, but they finally got that done. And I just talked to Western AF this morning, and they're getting that out. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear it. So you talk about building this community, and it just like I feel like I've become part of it because of your channel and others, and starting a podcast. You start to learn more behind the scenes people too. But it's just so great to see. That's one of social media can be. There's pros and cons for sure, but that's definitely a pro of it all. Is I feel like you're opening eyes to a lot and ears to a lot of musicians the general public just wouldn't hear, just because they turn on the radio when they drive to work and not, dig as deep.
Well, we're trying to create music enthusiasts, people, that can really enjoy this aspect of life, making noise, making music, because I think it's such a positive force in the world, not to be all hippy dippy and shit, but it's we live in a world where it's really easy especially with social media to become really disengaged, which is funny. You'd think you have the whole world at your fingertips. Maybe you'd find something to do with that time, but instead it really just becomes easy to just kind of turn the brain off, and you're just suddenly in a world filled with computer generated information sitting in front of you, whether it's TikTok or video games, etc. And it's like, well, you're just trying to harness this tool. We are anyway. We're trying to harness this tool for the powers of good, or at least the powers of, giving a damn. And I think music is just such a positive force in everybody's life. It gives them something to do. It's no different than joining a club. We're hoping that it's a club that's, inclusive for all and fun and enjoyable to be in. And I'm really always happy to see more people joining in. I'm glad you started this podcast. I'd encourage anybody to do something with it, and I love welcoming people into the fold to do stuff, and collaborate, because that's what it's all about. We just started a Discord channel, Discord server. Sorry, I'm a boomer. Discord server is what they're called. And, it's like a chat channel. It's like the old school AOL chat rooms. You just log in and everybody's hanging out. I was just in there before I got on here with a lot of the regulars. I was editing and streaming my edit, and then there's all these songwriters in there, and we do songwriter nights, and it's just a cool way for the internet people all over the country to get together. And a lot of these guys will live in, bumfuck nowhere, and they won't have anybody to jam with. And now suddenly they're like, oh, now I have a friend in Phoenix, that plays music and can give me critiques on my songs. And a lot of people are really happy to have that. So it's the community.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're passing through, they can just stop and jam in person.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Stopping and, making new friends.
Yeah. You spoke of Alan Lomax. Who else is out there? I know I've went down that rabbit hole. I do like, just the history behind field recordings in general, but there's a plethora of guys out there, but I'm sure you know a lot more than the common guy.
I'm just the common guy, but I have read a couple of the books. I'm not a scholar either. Unfortunately, I role play as one. I like to read the books a little bit, to an extent. I like to read the books about, the history of song is really interesting. But as far as people that are influential, you got Alan, of course. You got his father, John Lomax, who actually was the first one in the family to go out and do this thing, as far as I'm aware. And he would go around the country during the Great Depression and for the Library of Congress record cowboy songs that people weren't really interested in, songs that people didn't think were really that worthy of recording. Just songs that regular ass people were singing, here and there before the advent of radio or TV or record. And they were like songs that you would know, like Home on the Range, of course, and On the Old Prairie, all these songs that were just now classics that you don't even think about, or could have been lost forever if not for a guy like that going around and recording. So really influential. Had the pleasure of meeting some other Lomaxes, Lomax the Third, John Lomax III. He's Towns Van Zant's manager for a little while and a record producer in his own right and great music journalist. He was out and about in Nashville. Let us come to his house and get a little interview with him. And, he's another one that's really, it's always fun to talk to him and just learn about, how things used to be. And then Cecil Sharp, I went to the Cecil Sharp house. I think that's how you say his name. A British guy that around the same time as John Lomax Sr. was writing down folk songs. And in London, he has a organization. There's all kinds of people in history like that did us a service by recording some, which sounds goofy in the age of everything is recorded at all times. But back then, people, if it wasn't interesting, it could be lost forever. And I guess it still could. There's actually already in this day and age, people going around recording things that are being lost from like the 90s and stuff, which is really interesting. Just it's quick. Time is in erasing things that people don't find value in right away, which makes the story really interesting to anything that gets lost.
Yeah, that's true. You see yourself up there etched in stone too?
Well, I've done a good job of putting myself all over the internet, so it probably last a little bit longer than most people, but I'm sure time will envelop me as well, and we'll all be just dust in the wind.
Yeah. So let's move on to your travels overseas. Like, to me, that just seems like, first of all, so much fun to begin with. How did you go about that? Is this from the community that's already started gathering, that started, watching the channel, and you start to meet people over there and then kind of run with that? Or?
Well, I found out that if I post that I'm going to go somewhere and I ask who I know there, suddenly a bunch of people will tell me that they live there, which is cool. And I did that for, I guess the first time I went overseas, I went to England with Josh O'Keefe, who is a awesome folk musician on the channel and beyond. And he's in Ireland right now doing his thing. But he took me over to his hometown in England. And that was actually the first time I left the country. I'm a felony offender for mushrooms when I was younger. So I, for a long time, couldn't leave the country. And when I finally got rid of that, that's one of the things that I did was go over there with him. And we met some great musicians. I had a great time and just been kind of running on that since that day. I kind of got the itch, and since then been to Ireland to film with a bunch of Irish musicians, Scotland to do the same with my friend Sam Shackleton out there, who's studies music and Scottish history, and does kind of similar field, and just got back from Australia doing the same with another guy who actually, funny enough, the community entered the contest, the Gems in the Rough 2020 and 2021 contest. This guy, Kyle Brew, out in Melbourne, Australia, he actually got top 3 in voting both years and just barely didn't make it in, but he was just stayed in contact. And, I hit him up and said, hey, I'm going to come to Melbourne. And man, we recorded some awesome stuff.
I did listen to the Scottish Cowboy song that you guys put out from being out that way.
He's Awesome guy. That was a lot of fun. That was actually in collaboration with Fonda Bidoji, another YouTube channel that a lot of people I now find also knew about. So that's cool. Kind of two worlds colliding is what a lot of folks were saying. And he's like a survivalist out in the Highlands of Scotland. Took us out to this, remote place that was really beautiful and kind of told us all about Scottish history and surviving as like a maybe like a bard in the 1700s would have.
That's crazy just to think about. Yep, I'm gonna have to go over there.
Yeah, you should. It's a great time. Beautiful place. The homeland of golf. And it's pretty. I love it up there.
Do you have a bucket list location you'd like to go? Anything like, say, let's say South America, South?
Yeah, well, I've spent the last couple trips just going places where they speak English. So it's kind of like a soft introduction to overseas. Um, I need to plan out a whole trip to South America and do some folk music down there. Would be awesome. Mexico, but that takes a little bit more work. Got to know how to communicate. It's hard enough to find the good stuff when I speak the language. So to find it when I need a translator, I better really trust the translator's taste, or I'm in
Yeah.
trouble. I've
Yeah.
talked a little bit to somebody in Brazil, and we were kind of chatting about going down there. But then, the truth be told, I was just wasn't too into the musicians that they sent me, and I was like, maybe this is not in the circle. This is not the people. So I gotta find the right connect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to, I'm sure it's hard to, what you think's worthy of being on the show can be difficult at times.
Well, everybody has different taste, so
Right.
luckily mine's the only one that matters when it comes. Well, I guess it's not true because we're doing the contest, so that one's not even decided by me. So there you go. But yeah, it can be difficult to give people the idea. I don't know what even constitutes necessarily like what's worthy of being on the channel or anything. It's what's going to be a hit with the audience that's there versus what I want to record doesn't always coincide. So it can be tough to pick or to balance that audience versus what I want to do ratio. Got to make sure that you're feeding both babies.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not a saying. I just made that up. Feeding both babies.
That might be a t-shirt. I get that too on this show as well. There's some people that would send me stuff, and if I like it, obviously I don't, big or small doesn't matter to me. But if I'm not feeling it, I can't just sit on here and lie about it. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
that can be challenging.
Yeah, and there's not much use in telling somebody you don't like their music.
Right.
It's not really helpful in any way, is it?
So you play, quite a bit. It seems like I see piano work, banjo.
Yeah, I guess so. Huh?
So when's your record coming out?
Oh well, when I was in Australia, I was talking to Kyle Brew, and we actually recorded a song, and it kind of gave us the idea to record a couple more, and now we're in the process of it. So hopefully I'll have some kind of record or something to put out on Spotify and impress the world with my great skill.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's definitely not been the forefront of my activities or not been on my radar to put anything out. I kind of just play music because I like to.
Right.
So yeah, it's not really been a career or anything, but a lot of people have been asking, so maybe I'll put something out there and see how it goes. Got a few songs on Spotify already under my name, so yeah, just trying it out. Not really too eager. I'm busy. I'm sharing other people's music,
Yeah.
more important stuff, you know.
What's your what's your next plan with all this? Just kind of hard driving, continue grinding it out, or you got some other ideas that might take it to the next level? Or
Yeah, we got a bunch of plans. We always have plans. They just tend to move a lot slower than they do in my head. So, you know, we got all kinds of goals. We're gonna hopefully do more live shows. We've been doing a few live shows that have been going really good. Making it all about the music, you know, not doing them at bars and shit, and just having it be like intimate and having it be just like the videos, you know, so that the people that show up know what to expect and they have, you know, a night you're never going to forget, rather than, you know, a night where you just go out and the band's playing too loud and you're yelling at people at the bar and everybody's drinking, you know. I don't, it's not really how I enjoy watching music. So we're trying to bring it back from that a little bit. That's a big plan. We
yeah,
want to do Spotify. We're releasing a lot of the recordings from YouTube on Spotify. It just takes, you know, a little time and hopefully get some money into the pockets of all the artists like that, you know, and streaming is not much, but, you know, it's another place to put it. So hopefully make everybody some money and, you know, give the audience what they want, and they want it streaming. That's what they scream all the time. So we're going to get it going, and then hopefully travel some more too. I'm thinking about going to Ireland for a whole month and trying to crash over there with the Mary Wallopers some more and see what kind of trouble we can get into. And that's a big thing on my radar to do, is spend like a whole month overseas and really get embedded.
yeah. Any festivals you're going to show up at or anything? I saw you last year at Birds Creek.
I remember that. Yeah. I don't go to a lot of festivals. I'm not really a festival guy. I get all the music. I'm so lucky that I get all the music right in front of me. So it's hard to beat the live show that is recording the actual video. So I don't know. I can never justify going to the festival to see it, just with worse sound, you know,
Yeah, I
from
can see
further
that.
away. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll show up at some festival. The Smithville Jamboree, downtown Smithville, Tennessee, every 4th of July weekend this week. This year it's going to be on the 1st and the 2nd of July. I'll be there. It's an old time fiddlers convention. They have a competition. Anybody can sign up. They got old time bluegrass and clogging and fiddle playing and everything in it. It's a hoot. And I live out in Smithville, so everybody's welcome to come to the after party, and everybody's welcome to come to the Smithville Jamboree all weekend, July 1st and 2nd.
Nice.
They don't even pay me for that plug. See,
I do remember you posting in videos last year. You were at that, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah,
I love
looked
it. That's
like a
part of
good
the reason
time.
I moved here. Yeah, it's a great event. It's a lot of fun. The people are really, really cool. They bring music from all over the region.
Yeah, I wish we had more of that here. I'm in central Indiana. We do have Bill Monroe's campground, a site that he bought, and for years hosted his own, you know, jamboree and bluegrass show, Uncle Pin Days, all that good stuff. So a lot of historical bluegrassers come through and played there over the years.
That's cool.
But they don't really do a lot of fiddle conventions.
Yeah, I
Per
mean, it
se
takes
there.
a lot of work to put on something like that, and
Yeah,
got to know a lot of people. And yeah, I don't put on the Gems on VHS festival because yeah, it's a lot of work. So
exactly. Yeah.
wouldn't want to do it wrong. But yeah, this is a really cool event. I would love to maybe piggyback off of this event and have people over at my house as a after party with a bunch of music. That's what we did last year. So maybe we'll turn that into a thing. Just
Yeah.
piggyback off of Smithville. Gems on
Yeah,
VHS
after
Fiddlers
hours.
Jamboree.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually. Just
Well, you're
record the whole
invited.
thing. Yeah. If I'm
You
out
could do
that way.
live podcasting from the event.
That'd be great. Um, Well, I think I took too much of your time, man. Anything else you want to add?
Well, if anybody wants to see more about what we do, they can go to youtube.com/GemsOnVHS, probably for the most efficient explanation. And if you're into authentic songwriting and, heartfelt stuff, you might like that. If you're into music and songwriting and instruments and all that kind of stuff, I would advise join our Discord channel, which you can find a link to on the website or whatever. Maybe, who knows, maybe you can put it in the description somewhere. That's a fun place. And we're on Facebook, got Gems on VHS Friends page, which is a Facebook page where just a bunch of songwriters just posting their stuff and hanging out and kind of keeping it real. Love that little page. Met a lot of friends on there. Yeah, we're just trying to build a community, man. Just trying to have fun, like-minded people. So I just tell everybody to join in, make it a bigger world.
Yeah. And don't forget your Patreon too.
Well, whatever. Don't sign up for that unless you really, really love me.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. I'm sure we'll be in touch and keep it up, man. Just keep it rolling like Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, I love that song, and I will. And I appreciate you having me on. And I hope Tyler stuff comes out good. Can't wait to hear what you guys cooked up. And thanks, man.
All right, man. We'll catch you next time.